How's it going, everybody? It's Matt again, and today we're going to talk about another Magic Square product, or rather two Magic Square products. It's going to be the MS-28 or MS-B28 tapes team and the MS-B28A tapes team. The difference being is that one of them comes with a different set of characters, and the other one comes with the missing pieces, basically. So obviously these are legend scale. The one was meant to accompany kind of like their original release of their Soundwave. So this was just all the missing tapes. But then eventually they re-released Soundwave, but he didn't come with any tapes. So then they basically added this, which was the A version of this pack, which came with the other tapes. But now there's really no way to get all of the tapes unless you get both of these. This one especially being very rare, very hard to find. So hopefully Magic Square re-releases these pretty soon for people that aren't crazy like me and, you know, paid an arm and a leg just to get this thing for four stupid little tapes. But anyways, we're going to just kind of talk about both of them because I figure these don't really deserve videos each on their own, so we'll just do them together. But we'll start with the original set. Here it is. Obviously, it's going to come with Buzzsaw, Ratbat, Frenzy / Rumble, depending what camp you are in with that. And then it's going to come with Ravage. But there it is, the back there and the side and all that. So we got Damage, Berserker, Sawbird, and Raybat. You know, great third-party names. This one is going to, of course, come with your set of instructions, which, you know, whatever, they're Magic Square instructions, and then it's going to come with this card for all of them, surprisingly, because even though it doesn't actually include, you know, Rumble, Laserbeak, or the Auto Drone, it still has them on the card. So that one's going to come with these, and then, of course, we're going to take a look at the A version of this set. It's going to come with Laserbeak, Rumble, or Frenzy, depending who you are, Autodrome, and another Ravage. Around the back, same kind of art. And then instead we have Roarer, Damage, Laserbird, and Probe Vehicle. So, yeah. And then same thing with this. It's going to come with your set of instructions, just slightly different because it's going to have the instructions for the, you know, the Auto Drone, and then it's going to have a separate card here that has the other ones grayed out. So that's everything. It's going to come with those. But we'll go ahead and take a look at all of them, and it's a big pile of cassettes, but they're basically everything is. They all come packaged in their cassette modes, so this is just a good place to start. Let me punch everything in so you can get a closer look. But basically, these ones here are going to come with the A set, and these ones are going to come with the other one, and then you're going to have two of these Ravages. I only have one of them out here just because I actually ended up repainting my Ravage as something else, so I'll just end up having that here because they both come with it. You'll end up with two Ravages if you got both these sets. But suppose we'll start with the original set. Let's take a look at, how about Buzzsaw first. So obviously, it looks, you know, he looks decent. He actually looks like a cassette. Some of these definitely don't look like cassettes. Some of them do. Obviously, Ratbat does look like one, but Frenzy here does not really look like a cassette at all. But let me show that they do, in fact, fit inside Soundwave's chest. So here's the newer version of Soundwave, and I actually have another Auto Drone that's already in there. But all of these will, of course, just fit just fine in his chest. So there's Buzzsaw, obviously will fit in just fine. You know, Ratbat will fit in there just fine. You know, they're all going to fit in Soundwave's chest. So any of the versions of Soundwave, they should fit. But take a look at Buzzsaw here. So to transform him, what we're going to do is lift up these little wing pieces here on either side, and his little foot sections here will come down like so. These tiny little foot sections, and then these two silver sections here will rotate up on these two little swivels, this little double joint, and they will come up to the top like this, and then his head will just kind of get a fingernail in there. Come up like so, and then the wings will come out. And then there is little Buzzsaw. So he's decent. He's really small. But there is Buzzsaw. And then how about Ratbat? We'll take a look at Ratbat. He actually kind of looks like a cassette. Cleans up okay. To transform him, all that we're going to want to do is take these wing parts and just move them down like so. Flip these little gold thruster bits up like this. And we're just going to kind of pull out on this double hinge to open up the wings. And then this section here will rotate down and then all the way around to the front. And then his little feet will pull out and come down like so. And then you just kind of realign these little boosters here. And then for the most part, there is Ratbat. Looks decent enough. He doesn't really sit the greatest though. He always falls over. But there's Ratbat. And we'll go over to Ravage. How about him? So there he looks. I mean, kind of looks like a cassette. I don't know if you squint. But transform him. You're just going to want to lift up on these two silver parts here and rotate them around to the other side. Like so. And they pop off very easily. They're so small. And then you're just going to kind of take his little foot parts here and just kind of bring them down and out of the way. Mine are very tight. And then you're just going to kind of split him in half here. Just kind of fold everything down like that. And then you're going to twist the legs in like so. So that we can kind of line everything up like this. And then his little tail has this little tab. You're going to push on that. And the tail will come out like so. And then his front legs here, just pull them out exactly how you think that you would. Like so. And then twist them and bring them down. Like so. I'm sorry, one of my roosters is right next to the window that I'm recording by. So you may hear him crowing. But there is Ravage. He's got a lot of ball joints. He's a little bit of a mess. And I think he's a little too wide in my opinion. But he looks decent enough. And actually, I was talking that I had, because you get multiple of these if you got both of the sets, I actually took my extra Ravage and I repainted him as Glit, which is one of the, what are they, A cassettes or whatever. So I actually ended up repainting mine just because I had no reason to have two Ravages, so whatever, I repainted. But that's Ravage. And then let's take a look at Frenzy or Rumble real quick. So he obviously is a bit of a mess, doesn't look the greatest. He's basically just a box. Doesn't really look like a cassette at all, but whatever. You're going to get him so you can probably display him in bot mode anyways. But to transform him first, we're going to need to take these two little guns off. And they are very tiny, and they are attached on these teeny tiny little pegs, so be careful. Just pop them right off like this. And like that. Set those aside. And then we're just going to pop his little forearms off of these little tabs that are attached to his legs. And just kind of straighten those out for now. And then his entire kind of like leg section here, you're going to want to fold these down to the side. And all the way down on that little hinge. And then you're going to rotate to face the right direction. And then move the legs around as well. And then just his entire lower section is going to flip up on this hinge. Kind of line everything up, pull his arms down, and rotate everything how it needs to be. And then rotate his head around. And there basically he is. Looks alright. He's a bit wide, got a teeny tiny little pinhead. Face sculpt is not the greatest in the world, but you know, it's really tiny. His little guns here. So there is this teeny tiny little slider here and it is very small. But these can either be attached with that little peg onto his back, like so, or let me get this one all extended as well, or using that same peg, you can put them in his hands. So he can hold them. Which is pretty impressive given how very tiny they are, that they can even do that. New Ages can't do that. They just kind of fold up on the back. But he's also going to come with a couple of accessories. This is the only one that comes with accessories. But it's going to have his little pile drivers, which can extend and collapse. But in order to get these to work, basically you just need to lift up the arms and then just kind of flip them to the side. And then you're going to want to, say, bring them like this. And then these will just slide right over. I don't know if I have the right side. Here we go. So, sorry, it's the other way. And then they will just slip right over the forearms. Like, come on. Like so. So he can have his little pile drivers like he did in the cartoon. But that is pretty much everything for the original set. I suppose I can kind of talk about the articulation. There's not really much on either of these. Buzzsaw doesn't really do anything. He's basically just stationary. Same thing with Rat-Bat. But Rumble, Frenzy here, there is a little ball joint in the neck, and you can rotate it around as you saw for transformation. There's a hinge up in the shoulder, so you can lift those up, and there's a ball joint up in the shoulder, so you can get like way crazy out and rotate around and all that. There's a ball joint there in the elbow, nothing in the wrists, nothing in the waist, but you can rotate it at the waist. There's a little ball joint in either of the thighs, so you can move those pretty much however you want to. And then there's a ball joint there at the knee. And then there is a little ball joint in the foot that you can pull up on and rotate around for an ankle tilt and all that. So that's a decent little amount of articulation for them. And then, of course, the Ravage is just all ball joint crazy. There's a ball joint there in the neck. There's a double joint here in the midsection, so you can angle that however you want to. The tail can move. There's ball joints in all four of the legs, and they do have the little double joints here on the little knees on all of the legs. The toes on the front legs are the only ones that are articulated. The other ones are stationary. So that's everything for them. And then I guess we can take a look at the other set. This is just from the A set. This one would have come with another Ravage, and then obviously Laserbeak, Rumble, and the Auto Drone. So I'll just quickly transform Laserbeak here. He just is basically the same thing as Buzzsaw. He just has red instead of the yellow. So obviously flip the wings out, flip the feet down, lift these little panels up, and put them up to the front, or onto the top rather. And then open the wings and flip his head out. So there's Laserbeak. The exact same thing, but there they are, the two birds. And then here we have Rumble. So we'll go ahead and, I guess we can take a look at him first. Pretty much the same thing. But take the little guns off. We'll set those aside. Pop his little arms out, rotate the legs down and then into the correct position, like so. Flip the whole top section how it should be, and then just adjust accordingly. And basically, there is Rumble. So then there you go. There's the difference between them two. Just the colors. And I guess I'll put his little guns on his back. Just so I don't lose them because they are very, very tiny. And of course he's also going to come with his pile drivers. Nothing fancy there. Same thing. Let's set him aside for now. So the only other new thing is going to be the Auto Drone. the last thing, or the auto trooper, whatever you call this thing. But this one actually kind of does look like a cassette. I mean, it's a box. But to transform this one, we're just going to pull down on these two sections here. They're on little sliders. And then you're going to put them out like so. Then this little section here is going to come out, revealing that little wheel. And then the little top thing is going to open. And on this little tab, you have the little arm. So there's a little auto drone. Alright, I got everybody kind of grouped up here to kind of show some size comparisons. So how about we can do one of New Age's cassette bots. There is their Rewind. So he's about the same size as Frenzy and Rumble, so that's pretty good. I think they'll look good with them. Here is New Age's Bumblebee. So a bit larger. As you can tell, these guys are really, really tiny. They come up to probably about Bumblebee's faction symbol there. And then how about a New Age Insecticon? Just a little bit larger. So yeah, pretty tiny. I think they look good next to them. And how about here is one of New Age's Carbots, Smoke Screen, and Magic Square's Optimus. Seems about right. And of course, it wouldn't be right if I didn't show them without Soundwave. And how about here is Blaster. There's New Age's Blaster and Magic Square's Soundwave. So I don't have any of the New Age cassettes to show anymore as far as the New Age, Decepticon cassettes. I went ahead and I got rid of those in place for this set because I think these guys just look a lot better. But I will say that they were a little bit shorter. New Age's versions of Rumble and Frenzy came up to probably about the chest, and then the birds were smaller, Ravage was smaller, Ratbat was about the same size. So it's a comparable. It just depends on what your preference is. Alright, and that's going to do it for Magic Square's MS-B28 and MS-B28A, both versions of their tapes team with all their cassette members. Is it worth it for the cost of these guys? I mean, probably not. Secondhand, definitely not. I paid a lot more for especially the original set than I probably should have. But if you can get yours at a good price, I mean, they're kind of worth it. They definitely look the part. They look just like how they did in the cartoon. I definitely think they look better than New Age's for sure. But the materials are pretty good. They are that kind of gummy type of nylon plastic that Magic Square is known for. So they, if you don't like that, keep that in mind because they are pretty much entirely that. But altogether, I think they're pretty good. They're not the worst figures in the world. What are they? Rumble and Frenzy. They are pretty articulated for what they are, and I think that they are definitely the shining figures of these little sets. So I think that it's worth it alone, kind of just for them. But that's really it. I mean, they do their part. Ratbat does not stand like at all. I had to prop him up like that just so that he would even sit on the turntable. But I mean, they're cassette bots. They're definitely more of an accessory than a set of standalone figures, I'd say. So whether or not that's worth it to you, who knows? I'm just crazy enough to buy these things. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it if you watched this far in the video. Feel free to like, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. Check out some of my older videos if you feel like doing so. Also, feel free to check me out on Patreon. That's more for my Armored Core stuff, my 3D modeling side of the channel. But that is, a good way to support me if you feel like doing so. So check that out if you would like. The links for that are in the description. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.